We spend about a third of our lives doing it, sleeping. But what's actually going on in our brains when we're out for the count?
I mean, have you ever really wondered what happens when you close your eyes? It feels like we just power down, right? Like flipping an off switch. But what if I told you that falling asleep is actually the start of this incredible, super complex, and really organized journey?
Yeah, that's right. It's not an off switch at all. Your brain doesn't just shut down. Nope, it actually shifts gears. It's more like a carefully choreographed performance that happens every single night. So let's do it. Let's follow that journey stage by stage.
Okay, so before we dive right into the journey, every good journey needs a map, right? So let's take a look at the basic blueprint of your nightly sleep. We'll start with the most fundamental building block.
And that building block is the sleep cycle. This is the absolute core unit of your sleep architecture. The easiest way to think about it is like one full lap around a racetrack. Each lap has these really distinct sections, and your brain, it just runs this course over and over and over all night long.
And what's the goal? Well, your body is aiming to complete 4 to 6 of these full cycles every single night. That's what it takes to feel truly rested and restored. So the big question is, what are these cycles actually made of? Well, your whole night is basically spent switching between two very different states. On one hand, you've got NREM sleep. That stands for non-rapid eye movement. This is the bulk of your night, about 75 to 80% of it, where your mind and body just kind of slow everything down. And then you've got REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is the famous one, the dream stage, where your mind is totally lit up, but your body is pretty much locked in place. Wild, right? All right, picture this. You've turned off the lights, your head hits the pillow. The journey officially begins. Let's start that descent from being wide awake into the world of sleep. Our first stop is stage N1. You know that amazing, kind of floaty feeling when you first start to drift off? That's it. You're not quite asleep, but you are definitely not awake anymore. You've just stepped through the doorway into sleep. So stage N1 is super brief. We're talking just a few minutes, maybe 1 to 7. Your heartbeat starts to slow down, your breathing gets a little shallower, your muscles relax, and you might even have that sudden twitch or that weird feeling of falling. That's called a hypnic jerk. It's such a light stage of sleep that if someone were to wake you up, you'd probably swear you were never even asleep in the first place. Okay, so after that really brief little transition, you start to sink a bit deeper. And that brings us to stage N2. We're not just on the porch anymore, now we are officially inside the house of sleep. And you spend a ton of time here. Seriously, look at this. Stage N2 makes up about half of your entire night's sleep. Think about that. It's kind of like the main event, or the home base that you keep coming back to in between the other deeper stages. And this stage has a legit superpower. Your brain starts producing these special little bursts of activity. They're called sleep spindles and K-complexes. The best way to think of them is like a do not disturb sign that your brain hangs on the door. They help filter out minor noises so you can stay asleep. And this is really cool, this is also where a lot of memory consolidation happens, especially for locking in new physical skills, like if you were practicing guitar chords or a new tennis serve earlier that day. All right, from the pretty light sleep of N2, we are now diving way, way down into the deepest, most restorative part of the entire night. This is stage N3. This is prime time for your body's physical recovery. Your brain is churning out these big, slow, powerful delta waves. Your blood pressure drops, your muscles are completely relaxed, and your body just gets to work. It's repairing tissues, it's helping you grow, it's strengthening your immune system. If you want to wake up feeling physically refreshed and ready to go, you absolutely need this stage. And speaking of stage N3, here's a little fun fact for you. The way we map out sleep, these stages, it hasn't always been this way. Science is always learning and refining how it all works. So you might stumble across an older article or a book that mentions a stage N4, and you'd be right. Before 2007, scientists actually split deep sleep into 2 different stages, N3 and N4, just based on how many of those delta waves were showing up. But eventually they realized, hey, this is all pretty much the same state. So they just simplified things and combined them into the one single stage N3 that we talk about today. Okay, so after hitting that rock bottom of deep sleep, your brain doesn't just stay there. It starts to travel back up through N2 again, and then it enters the most famous, the most fascinating, and frankly, the weirdest stage of all, REM sleep. They call REM paradoxical sleep for a reason, and this is it. It's a total contradiction.
On one hand, your brain is absolutely buzzing with activity. It looks almost identical to a brain that's wide awake. But at the exact same time, your body's voluntary muscles are temporarily paralyzed. This amazing little safety feature is called atonia, and it's what stops you from, literally jumping out of bed and acting out your crazy dreams.
Now, this is the stage where most of your really memorable story-like dreams happen, but it is doing so much more than just putting on a movie for you. REM sleep is absolutely critical for processing your emotions and integrating memories. It's helping your brain make sense of everything that happened during the day, kind of sorting all that new information and filing it away.
All right, so we visited all the individual stops on our little tour. Now let's zoom out and see how they all fit together to build one complete cycle, and then a full night of amazing rest.
So here it is, one full lap. You start by drifting off in that light N1. Then you descend into N2. From there, you hit that deep, restorative N3 sleep. But here's the key. You don't just wake up from there. You actually climb back up to N2 for a little while before you finally pop into your first REM stage. And once that's done, the whole cycle just starts all over again.
But here's something really important to get. The cycles are not identical all night long. Your brain is smart. It prioritizes what it needs most. So in the first half of the night, you spend way more time in that physically restorative N3 deep sleep. Your body needs that physical repair first. But as the night goes on, those N3 stages get shorter and shorter, and your brain starts dedicating more and more time to REM sleep for all that crucial mental and emotional housekeeping.
And honestly, this might be the most important takeaway of this whole thing. When you decide to cut your sleep short, let's say you set your alarm an hour early, you're not just trimming a little bit from each stage equally. No way. You are disproportionately chopping off those longer, absolutely vital REM stages because they're all clustered at the end of your night. That's why waking up even just an hour early can leave you feeling so mentally foggy or emotionally drained. You've robbed yourself of your brain's processing time.
So from now on, try to think of your sleep not as just dead time, but as this intricate, multi-act performance with a very specific script. Every single stage plays a vital role in getting you ready for the next day. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, are you giving yourself enough time to finish the show? Are you staying in your seat long enough to actually see the finale?